Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today for the Thai Jam, our first online Thai Jam, bringing back. My name is Kristen. I'm gonna be working with you today. Today we're gonna be doing some upper back and neck work. I'm gonna go quickly through the different anatomy just so you can kind of get an idea as to what it is that we're working on today. So today we're gonna be working with our pecs. We're gonna be working on the pecs. You can see here where the musculature is. As well, we're gonna be working on the trapezius. It's a common area where we have issues. Everybody has issues with their traps, from our bad posture or what we do daily with work. It's a common area that causes a lot of neck pain, shoulder pain. TMJ can come from over tight trapezius. We also have the levator scapula, also known as the Darth levator. It's another troublesome muscle. Clients, or if you work on a computer and you have your elbows on a desk, you might notice that you have some levator scapula issues. And we also will be working on some different neck muscles. So I just kind of wanted to put this up so you could get a visual for what it is that we're working on today. I expect that not everyone here has gone to massage school or has taken anatomy. I expect that people who are watching this video and tuning in today with us are also just average folks that, go in throughout the day and you consume massage, but maybe this is your first time being exposed to Thai body work. But if so, I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. So to get started, I have my client, my friend here, laying on the mat sideline. The one thing you want to worry about is bolstering the neck, also bolstering the hip. So it's always useful to have some extra blankets. I like to use these yoga blankets. So you can, for the leg, you can go ahead and roll it up, fold it to give them a little bit of cushion so that their hip is supported. You want to go ahead and lift up your leg for me? All right. Your client will know it's best if you fold it in a weird way. He ended up folding it long ways and rolling it. How's the pillow for you?
It's good.
Okay. Sometimes I like to use these blankets because they are great. I typically will fold them like this and use this as a pillow. For me, this is best for when I receive, but everyone's different. The great thing about that is that it gives you options. You can kind of fold it and bend it as to where you need. Let me see here. So let's get started. Whenever I'm doing sideline, whenever you see the pillow like this, I like to kind of move it forward. Do you mind if I move this? That way I can get right up against my friend I'm working on. Let me see. There we go. Better view there for us. All right, so I want to come in and just kind of warm up the area. I do a simple hold like this. You just kind of grab and lean back. What we're doing with this is we're addressing all those muscles that I showed you in the beginning. Take your time. This is a nice hello. Nice to warm it up, give it some length. Depending on where you kind of lean towards, right now I'm opening up the pecs. Just kind of seeing how his body feels. What kind of movement is his body allowing? For a lot of us, just this move is so nice after a long day of work, dealing with something stressful in your personal life, to just pull those shoulders away from your ears. So nice. So we're doing two 30-minute trades. I'm gonna try to do 15 minutes each side so that way we're not feeling weird, only having one side stretched out and lengthened and the other side feeling a bit left out. I like to come in and just kind of warm this area up. I have my fingers just here underneath the scapula, just kind of opening, just kind of feeling the area out. As I move, I'm rolling the scapula back onto my fingers. And I'm continuing that movement of opening, lengthening, For some of us, it's so tight that behind our scapula, you can't really fit any fingers. It's okay. It's just nice to kind of feel that this area is being touched. A lot of the time when we feel discomfort here in this area behind the scapula, it's actually our pecs where the problem's coming from. So this move is nice because you're actually able to address both of those areas at the same time. So after I feel like I've kind of warmed this area up, I like to come up to the shoulder. We're going to work on the trap a little bit. Let me see if there's a better angle. I'm going to go ahead and switch. So I use the arm as basically a handle. I use it to lengthen. I just come in and put my knee into the trap. For some people, you really can't put much pressure here. Some people love it, want more pressure. How's the pressure? Good. You'll find what angle works for your body. For me, I like to keep this leg up here, you know, and then my left leg, my right leg, I will find a nice spot in the trap, kind of sink in. Some people like a little bit of movement. It makes it a little easier to receive. But really, it takes some, you have to get used to where you place your foot in order to get your knee in a spot that feels right for the move. As I work the trap, I'll kind of move up, being aware of the bone structure. You want to avoid bones. You also want to have open communication from the client or from your friend to you. For some people, maybe the knee is too much. Everyone's knee is a little bit different. Some of our knees are bonier, some are not as much. So really be aware of your body and which point of your knee you're using. So we can come in with our elbow. Let me go ahead and show you the neck anatomy again. So you can kind of get an idea of what the musculature in the area looks like. We'll go back to that. So what I do is I come in here with my neck, or I come in here with my elbow to his neck. I just settle in. I watch his body movement to make sure that the pressure is not too much. I'm using this flat part of my elbow here. I'm not using the tip. I'm using this area right here as I apply some pressure. With this work, it can be deeper. We don't move as fast as maybe you do in other styles of body work. I like the body to open the door rather than come and kicking it in. And if you've never put your elbow into someone's neck before, you might be a little hesitant. Trust me, this is really delicious work. The arm almost settles right to where it needs to go. Make sure to not be too forward in the neck. And sometimes a natural slide occurs. I just always like to be careful of their hair. It's not really a great sensation pulling an elbow through someone's hair, so I try to make sure to stay out of that. You tuck your chin for me. Then I'll come up to the top of the body. Again, I use the arm as a handle. Same as I did when I put my knee in the trap. And I come in, just open some space. And once again, make sure you're not too forward in the neck. You're wanting to come right here in the junction. I almost kind of like hook in. And then I sink. You will notice when it's your turn to receive how nice it is to have the length. It's quite a different sensation having the arm supported versus not. You'll find that if you have TMJ, this really relieves some of that jaw pain that you may experience. When I'm doing this work, depending on the client, I might do one more pass. Bringing my knee back into the trap to kind of open. And with me, where my friend is laying, I need to kind of pull my knee off the pad, off the mat that we're using, to give myself just a little more space. Really, with how tight most of our traps are, you could kind of linger here for a little while. If this is your first time ever using your knees, if this is your first time ever working with someone, I do understand it might feel a little weird, but once you get the stance down on how to give this, it comes as second nature. As you can see, I'm using this side of my knee. Now, say if your friend that's receiving wants more pressure or wants it to be more pointy, you can change the angle of your knee and you could use the pointy and push down, but I wouldn't start off that way, nor would I do that unless someone was asking for quite a bit more of a pointy sensation. The one thing that I like to do with Thai is I like to compress and stretch. I like to kind of go back and forth to open. And even sometimes I like to do a little bit of myofascial work to the arm, but you know, one step at a time. So as I was saying, going from compressions to stretches. I like to open up and just give everything a nice big stretch, depending on how your friend's arm and wrist is. Let me show you this from a different view. And so what I'm doing here, let me show you from a different angle. I've got my feet and I'm just pulling on his arm. You can either hold by the wrist, give some nice traction here to open the pecs, or you can kind of make a handle here. I just wanted to open everything back up. We're gonna do this one more time. We're gonna go switch sides. Try it on the opposite side. All right, so switch sides. Same thing again. Make sure your client is bolstered, your friend is bolstered, head supported. Once again, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the pillow towards the front of her body so that way I can be laying with my legs straight in front of me, nice and comfortable. My body is resting against her so she feels nice and supported. Once again, I create this little handle. Just kind of lean back. Bring in your second hand. And you'll see your friend's neck naturally lift. I kind of just go back and forth feeling what her body feels like. Where is she holding her tension? Open the pec, stretch back. You might feel some pops. I just felt a little pop in her shoulder. It's okay, you know, she'll let you know, your friend or client will let you know if they have issues with joints, anything you need to be worried about. Anything else is just going to be a natural moving of the joints. I like to take my time here. This seems so basic, but when we spend all day with our shoulders up by our ears, it's so nice to just have them opened up again. Up here, your levator attaches. I like to come in and just kind of say hello with both my hands. I just have a cup. I'll come back behind. I'm rolling her scapula onto my fingers as I'm stretching her pecs. stretching her traps, giving length to levator. And like I said, some people, they won't have near as much space back here behind their scapula, but that's okay. If you can't fully put your fingers underneath, what I tend to do is just kind of hang out here, work the tissue. Everybody's different, so if the body doesn't fit or move in the way that I'm showing, there's a way to kind of make it work for everyone. Open the pecs. I like to set the arm down here. It gives me a good handle. Yes. So once I've using the arm as a handle, bring your knee into the area. It's right here in the trap. If you see that your friend's head is tilted up, just change your pillow to where it gives more space. You want to have space here. So if her head was cranked up, I wouldn't have enough space. Just come in. There we go. That pressure. I'm going for this chunky muscle on the top of the shoulder. I'm just leaning in. You can ask your friend, do they like it when you move it, or do you want it when I have it keep it still? That's up to your client, what they want, what seems to feel better. Andrea, what feels better for you?
All of it.
All right. So, you know, my friend might like it when I go a little bit between. I'll do a little movement. And then move up a little bit, being aware of the bony structure. There you go. I found a good spot. So whenever I find that things are tighter, I like to kind of hang out a little bit before I start doing any movement. It might have been a while since she's had any work to the traps. And so too much movement might be overwhelming. The body seems to like to have a second to kind of sink into what we're doing. And then you kind of bring a little movement. Here's a picture of the trapezius. You can see the movement that it's responsible for. As I said, I just kind of hook in. Ooh. Once again, I'm feeling some dense tissue. When I can feel it's kind of dense and hard, I can tell this is an area that needs a little attention. Bring a little movement, lengthen. If I need a little balance, I put my hand on my hip and just kind of give myself a way to stabilize myself. Then I'll come down. We'll go back to her neck. Same as last time, I like to shoot for right in this area here, the flat part of my elbow. You will quickly find out that the pointy part is too much. Your friend will jump off the mat. How's that area?
Good.
Okay. And I kind of feel around. Make sure you check in with your friend. Make sure your pressure is good. This doesn't look like a lot going on, but if you're on the mat feeling the work, you will definitely feel there's much more going on to this than what it seems. Whenever I come out slow. Go ahead and tuck your chin for me. And whenever your friend tucks their chin, make sure their head is still supported by the pillow or the blanket. Once again, we're going to go in right in this area. You can see where I was just working. And you use the arm as a handle. Give some length. And then hook and sink in. How's that? Would you like any more or any less? All right, she wants a little more. So I'm going to reposition myself a little better there. Basically, I just re-hooked in. I kind of grabbed it a little more with that piece of my elbow. Elbow. If you feel yourself kind of slipping off, just reposition. Use your arm as a handle, give it some length, hook in. Sometimes you'll feel the body kind of fighting it. Don't worry, it will eventually release. I want to come in one more time. And the same thing here. I'm just going to kind of take my knee off the mat. It's okay. Do what's best for your body. You never want to do anything that makes you feel bad while you're giving anyone any work. Back into that trap. I slowly come out. Like I said, after compressing, I like to stretch and give the area length. So I'll come down and put my feet at her low back, grab her arm, and we're just going to open these pecs. I like to do a little slide on the arm. You can kind of step in the low back. This is just a nice little hello to the back as you're opening the pecs, giving some length. You can use the arm as a handle. Some people don't really like their wrists to be pulled on, so you can pull here. Even come down. Nice stretch to everything we've been working on and warming up as you give some nice attention to the forearm and hand. Little bonus. Just doing these simple moves, we've done 15 minutes each side. It's a great way to get the body to start opening, lengthening, getting those shoulders away from those ears. I'm going to go ahead and show the anatomy one more time. So we can go over, review the muscles we were just looking at, working on. We got the pec. You can see the attachments. So as we're opening it back, you can see how that would lengthen the area. Those are the trapezius, which we were opening up, massaging in the beginning while we were opening the pecs. Our levator scapula. And our different neck muscles. Now you can take a lot more time with this neck work. I was trying to get it into this time. So, when you're doing this with your friend, feel free to take your time. There's no rush. You can really sink in and really get these muscles to relax. So one thing I did want to bring up, our body's back bending. It really is nice to help open anyone that's having some spine tension. It's nice to open up. A back bend is a really nice way to do so. Dogs are set up, they are the way that their bodies are, they don't have that compression on the spine that we as humans do. With them walking on all 4 feet, their spine stays nice and long. For us as humans, we always need to kind of work on relieving the compression. If you guys need to take a bathroom break or switch people, let's go ahead and do that right now. Oh, also, if you guys want to check out what we're doing, we do have our workbooks. After we are done today, if you were to buy the entire workbook selection, we are giving you a free t-shirt to go along with that today. Great stuff. And we have the DVDs and the books that come with it. There's a package deal. There's also payment options if that is best for you. So you can go ahead and find that link. And then we're gonna do a bathroom break really quick and switch positions. And we'll be back in 2 seconds.
Hey guys, I'm Andrea Moore, and now I'll be teaching the second half of this session. All right, so let's start you side lying. And so Kristen doesn't like the pillow, so I'm gonna use this blanket to customize to her neck. Do you prefer it to be more flat, more folded?
Folded.
Okay, so I always ask the client or your friend how they like it. And this is really how it works. All right, and then I'm gonna roll this blanket up. That way it gives her a little bolster to hold up her hips. Give you a little bit of support. There you go. Is that good right there?
Yeah.
Awesome, all righty. So then I just come down and kind of nestle up right next to her, give her some support, makes her feel a little bit more comfortable. I'll grab up and underneath her arm here, and then grab onto her shoulder. And we'll just be working on the same muscles that we've already covered. So right here, I'm just lengthening her traps, opening up her pecs. Just trying not to go too deep too fast. Seeing what kind of resistance I have. Sometimes I'll come in and just kind of slightly feel around to see what we're working with. And I really like having my leg up against her back, and whenever I pull her onto my leg that way, it's hitting a little bit of that rhomboid. So it also gives a little bit of support into the back as well as hitting all of her neck and her shoulder. How is that? Good. I usually move pretty slow in this. I don't go too fast. And then I'll go ahead and move down. And again, like she was saying, we like to have her arm kind of up against the side of her body. That way it's not falling forward and collapsing forward. It also gives us a little bit more of a handle. So I come up and just kind of push down. Opening up the neck. Seeing what kind of resistance we have, what we're dealing with here. And then I usually move their hair just so you're not stepping on it and pulling it, being aware of all the different things that you might be touching and dealing with. And then I just slightly go in. And I have very bony knees, so I have to be very aware of that. Is that too much?
You're good.
Okay. And I just do a little rocking, kind of trying to feel around, but not go in too deep. And was that too deep?
No.
Okay. So it's also good to know what your friend is used to doing, if they're an athlete, if they're not, what's going on with their body on a daily basis. I tend to work on a lot of athletes, so I go a lot deeper, a lot faster than most people, and then I have to be aware of that whenever I'm working on normal people. I'm like, oh yes, I can't just put my knee in your neck. Okay. So communication is definitely key. How's the rocking? Do you prefer the rocking or static?
I like both.
A little bit of both? Okay. And then I start to like strengthen and lengthen her arms. Not strengthen, I wish I could strengthen it.
Yes. My arms.
Oh, brain is non-functional. And I just kind of make my way up through to the, what is this process? The acromion? Yeah, up into the shoulder, between the scap and the clavicle. I'm just barely moving up. And then I come out slow, and then I kind of come back down in, barely moving up. Very, very, very slow in this area. Anything too fast will definitely send your friend jumping, or screaming, or punching, or any of the above. Oof, yeah. And once you kind of get this all opened up, you can definitely spend a lot more time in this area, but we will be moving on. Once I kind of get that all opened up, I come back down. And again, I can't really use my elbow because it is very sharp and pointy. So I end up using more of this part of my arm. And I'll come in, and usually if they're wearing necklaces, I'll ask if they want it to be removed, or I just try to move it out of the way so that I'm not choking her and or pushing anything down into her neck. So then I just kind of come in at the very base and hook, and very slowly add more pressure as I'm going forward up towards her ear. And at the same time, I usually kind of give it a little bit of a shake on her shoulder just to kind of give it a little more opening, inviting it to open and to release. How is the pressure? Good. And as you can see, I'm more on the back side. I'm not crossing over into the front. I don't really like hitting in front with all the different arteries and veins and nerves. And I'm just very, very slowly, gradually making my way up her neck. And like she said, this looks very boring to the outsider, but the one receiving is like, oh, this is amazing. So I'm hitting a lot of the different neck muscles, as you can see on the screen. And then if you want to come up and reposition, I very slowly come out of that. And then I'm going to come up a little higher, move her necklace out of the way, make sure I'm not going to be pulling her hair. So move all of this out of the way. And I am going to be coming right in here, so I will be pulling a little bit close to the hairline, but I will also check in with her as I'm going to make sure I'm not pulling too much. And I come up right into that suboccipital, where we get a lot of tension headaches. This could also be some of your TMJ issues. I mean, most of that is going to be here, but it's also connected. And what I'm doing here is I'm just very slowly, gradually moving down this way and that way, so kind of backwards. A little bit of a skin stretch. Am I pulling your hair? Okay, good. If you were to go too fast, then it would definitely be pulling skin and hair and not feel good at all. And at the same time, I'm using my other hand to kind of lengthen her shoulder as I'm doing this. Just a little bit of movement. I could literally spend all day here on most people because all of us need this work. We're all very, very anteriorly rotated, looking at our phones, on our computers, you name it, that's what we're doing. There we go. Then I'm going to come to her back and just put my feet to support. I usually bring my heels to the very base of her back. That way she has that support and she's not going to be falling back onto the balls of my feet. And then I'll just grab her arm, and I have the balls of my foot just on this rhomboid on the other side of the scap as support. I don't want to use my toes to get up in there unless it just happens to fall over onto my toes, but that can be pretty painful if you're just like digging in. Now, if I'm getting in deeper on somebody, then I might do that, but definitely not to start. And a little bit of rocking and rotation in the lumbar as I'm supported on the rhomboid. How is that? Good. Then I'm just making my way up her erectors, which is are the muscles around the spine. And see how I'm like supporting her pec here. That way I'm not just pulling her at this point, because I'm more focused on the rotation and the twist than I am just pulling her open. That way I'm slowly opening her up. And then once you feel like she's mobile and able to receive it, that's when I come back. Still make sure you're supporting everything on the back. And that's when I just slowly bring her to me. And what's nice about this is you're hitting the back, but you're also doing forearms. And what kind of massage therapy can you get a lot of that all at once? Not a lot of different. Go. Lots of little cavitations in her fingers. Must need some popping. All right, I'm going to have you go ahead and roll onto your back. And then this is where I'm going to be opening up her pecs a little bit. How are we on time? Good? Need to switch? Okay, never mind. I won't be doing that. I'll be switching you to the other side. There's so much. So much to do. So little time. All right, so we're going to be doing pretty much the same thing on this side. I start where I'm just up, grab up underneath her shoulder. That way I have a good handle on her pec and this shoulder. Opening it up. Slowly opening it up. Do you prefer whenever I pull straight down or whenever I come more back?
Like both.
Both? Okay.
Feels nice on my musculature that's around my spine, both of them going back and forth. And then it just, feels good to go between like my traps and my pec.
Nice.
Pec. Both of them like it. Not just one.
Yeah. Just the one.
It's only my left one enjoys it right now, but they both like it.
Why so the left? Driving, working, all the things.
And
oh,
lefty.
They're special.
My mama says.
Oh yeah. And so like I'm doing my assessment, but the client, the receiver, doesn't even care because they're like, oh, you're touching me. That feels amazing. But I'm actually testing it to see what is it we're working with. How tight is it? Am I going to be hitting more here or more here? So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. Bottom line is the person receiving doesn't really care because you are touching them and it all feels good to them. Right. Much stretch on your arm here, lengthening that up. So she's getting work on the shoulder, the neck, her arms, all of this at once, which is very nice. Now I'll be very careful to come in with the knee. I'm going to come in right here at the base of her trap. And I try to, again, I have a very bony knee, so I have to be very careful about where and what part of my knee I'm using. And I know I use this a little bit more often on most of my clients, but I feel like you might want it to be more of the fatty part, not so much the bony part. Is that okay? And I'm barely, just barely going in. As soon as I feel her muscles resisting it and like kind of collapsing around my knee, that's when I stop pushing in. You don't want to go too far, too fast, because it's going to be very uncomfortable if you do that. And that defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing. You doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Itch.
Okay. You're not allowed to itch? What is this? Now I'm just making my way up slowly. I'm feeling some resistance here, so I'm just going to go real slow. Not a whole lot of pressure here. And again, trying to be aware of your clavicle, your scap, all the other bones in this area. I think those are really the main bones. Are there any other bones? Slowly coming out, slowly going in, a little bit further up. Is that okay there? Okay. Very gently, very slowly making my way up to the very edge of her shoulder here. Nearly sent her jumping.
Yeah, I'm on my edge.
Okay.
But it's nice. I love
Okay. It's okay to send people to their edge. We just do not like crossing it because then it defeats the whole point of what we're trying to do, which I've had to learn because I like to send people beyond their edge. Oh, that hurts? Oh, okay. And then I come back down and just kind of reassess, slowly going in. This time on the second pass, I do go a little bit deeper than I do the first time. And then I'm very slowly moving my knee up. It's so slow you can't even really see it. I'm out, back in. Oh, felt a little pop there. And if you tend to like sit on one spot for too long, that might get a little uncomfortable. So trying to be mindful of that as well and like kind of moving around on where you're hooking in and what you're using. I usually try to use just the pad of my hand and not like fingertips or anything like that because that can get really uncomfortable really fast. So I'm going to come out of that. Oh, I just kneeled on your hair. I'm going to come into her neck, move her necklace up. I'm not choking her. Going to be using this part of my arm right here. Very slowly. So what I'm doing is I'm coming to this back part of her neck, trying not to cross over into the front. That's not what we're working on right now. very slow. Slow, slow, slow. And then I'm hooking and moving up just ever so slightly. And as you can see, I'm moving this down as I'm moving this up to kind of lengthen all of that. I keep wanting to say strengthen. I guess that's what I'm stuck on today. Let's strengthen this stuff. Yes, we want to do that, but that's not what we're doing here. Very gently. I'm going to very slowly come out of that. And then I'm going to be moving her necklace down, moving her hair back. I'm going to be hitting more of this area very gently. And there we go. How's the pressure? Good?
Good.
Okay. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you prefer I go more up towards the suboccipital or more down towards your shoulder?
I like suboccipitals work.
Okay. More in here. And more towards the back. For those of you that don't know, suboccipital is just right here in the very back base of your neck. And that's what I'm trying to hit. Do you feel supported? Okay. I'm also being mindful of her earrings. I'm not wanting to push that down and into the back of her, whatever this part is, her neck. Yeah, so I'm also being mindful of that, not wanting to push my elbow into her ear. So I'm coming behind it. Lots of things to be mindful of while working on your friends. The best thing is they will be honest with you and tell you if you are hurting them or not. At least the good ones will. And I'm just very slowly moving that way, which is backwards on the back part of her neck. Slightly rotating my arm so she's getting a little bit more of the sharp part of my tibia. No, that's my leg. God, what is it? Ulnar? Ulnar. Oh. My brain is not working today. It very rarely works, so that's what we're stuck with. Okay, and then I'm very gently coming out of that. I felt it pop at the very end because that's how deep I was in there. And then we're going to be opening up the pecs, giving a little rotation to the torso, a little push on the low back. Pull the sheets if you need to. Are we good on time? Don't worry about it. A nice little rotation. Oh, yeah. There we go. Up. Getting your forearms, getting the hands. Like she said, it's an added little bonus. There we go. And don't forget, we have our workbooks and DVDs. If you buy them in the next 30 minutes, you get a free t-shirt. All of these fun things that are great resources to help you learn more of the body work that we do. And there we go. So that wraps it up for our, we'll see you in 2 weeks for another session of the Thai Jam. But yeah, this was the upper back and neck, and we'll be doing something else more fun, more fun stuff.
More fun stuff next time.
Yes, yes. Awesome.
Thanks guys for joining us.
Thank you very much.
It was great having you, and thanks for being with us on our first time doing this.
Yes.
We're so excited to see you again in 2 more weeks.
Yay. Join us on our journey. Oh yes, and the workbooks and DVDs. Order them within the next 30 minutes, you get a free t-shirt. Yay. Have a great day.
Guys, thank you so much.